everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Rachel Webb. Let's talk about heat presses. We're so glad you popped back onto the YouTube channel of Oak and Lamb. If you haven't ever been here, welcome. We hope that you do enjoy our content here. If you do, don't forget to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do, and ring that bell so you don't miss any content like this. Today we're talking about heat presses. Now on the table we have a Clam Shell heat press, a Swing Away, and two of the Cricut brand easy presses. We are going to be excluding any presses that are specifically for cups and mugs. We do have several of them here, and I can make it its own video if you guys are interested in that. Leave a comment down below and let me know you want to see it. But today we're talking about regular heat presses. Which ones should you buy? Which ones should you not buy? How much money should you spend on them? Like, what's the average cost? How heavy are they? How big are they generally? We're going to go through all of that today. I have a little list of everything broken down of my research so we can give you guys the best, most accurate information. And not just information, but expertise from us crafters who have used a lot of these. We have used, abused, and gotten rid of a lot of different presses. This is maybe a quarter of the heat presses that we have came in contact with in our crafting career. So we have used so many Swing Away, Clam Shell, handheld use easy presses, so many. So we're going to break down today which ones we think are the best for you to get. So in the crafting world in general, there is 3 areas of heat press, but if you work in the niche crafting world of Cricut, there's actually 4. We've got Swing Aways, Clam Shells, auto presses, and easy presses. Those are the 4 different categories that encompass the different types of heat presses you will come in contact with, or that you will come across when you're looking for some. Now, some can advertise the world, some can really fall short, some can be phenomenal, and others not so much. So we're going to go through today and share with you some of the things you might want to know about these different areas, these different types of heat presses. Let's first talk about Swing Away presses. So the name is kind of a dead giveaway for what it does. So this is the one that you place down with, the handle here, and then once you're done, you open it up and you swing it away from your project. Then you can remove your shirt or your tote bag or whatever you need to. These average out at about $190 per press, give or take a little bit. They're usually multifunctional, which means it comes with attachments usually for mugs and hats and plates and such. I'm not gonna tell you if you'll want those or not. I can just let you know from my personal experience. We don't particularly use all that often, if ever, the attachments for Swing Away presses, or any presses, not just Swing Away. But for Swing Away presses, we don't particularly seek out the ones that say they're multifunctional, because we don't really see that as a make or break in order to purchase it or not. Just letting you guys know, usually they are multifunctional. Now, as for weight on these guys, the average weight is 35 pounds. That's not super light, but they get much heavier, trust me. The auto presses are of the heaviest of these categories that we'll discuss today, but the Swing Aways come in about 35 pounds on average. Honestly, not very unmanageable, especially if you have a craft area where you can have it in its own space and not have to move it very often. You're not gonna, need to move it. Now, I will say a lot of you will be like, oh my gosh, that weighs so much, I need to find one lighter. I wanna urge you that lighter might mean lesser quality. So think about that next time. This one is made of metal, very sturdy. Of course, the color's adorable. This particular one is Starcraft. It is out of stock right now. I am sorry. I will link a comparable one for you. But again, as far as we have used several Swing Away presses, they are all pretty comparable as far as functionality, so you don't have to stick with one brand or another. Also, if you happen to be on Amazon, check reviews. Reviews are always great. The average size of these guys are 15 inches by 15 inches, and I'm just going to go on a limb and say the most important thing about any press that you get is is the ability to control the pressure. I'll just go ahead and throw that out. So this one, you're able to adjust the pressure with this dial right here. My hand's on it. This dial right here allows you to adjust the pressure, meaning I can place my shirt down, place my iron on there, swing this over, and clamp this down. And the harder it is to clamp down, the heavier my pressure is. And if I were to adjust this to be super easy to clamp down, that would mean my pressure is really light. So you can adjust your pressure on these, which actually is a phenomenal thing. You want to make sure you get excellent pressure with your projects that you are pressing, whether that be heat transfer vinyl, printable heat transfer vinyl, or sublimation. You want really, really great pressure, so we absolutely love that you can adjust the pressure on these. Now let's talk about clamshell. So I actually technically don't have a clamshell on the table today. We just got rid of our other clamshell when we moved studios. Not because we didn't like it, just because we have our swing away, which, spoiler, we like better, so we didn't need that many. Now this, you might say, hey, isn't this a clamshell? So in the design portion, this is technically a clamshell. However, this is an auto press, so that's going to be in that category. A clamshell press is very similar to a swing away, except instead of swinging away, it stays put and usually opens up like a clamshell. I love these names. They're very self-explanatory. Swing away, clamshell. You guys get the idea. But instead of swinging away, it opens up like a clamshell. So those are a little bit more expensive than swing aways, actually. So the average for a clamshell will run you about $220. Now, unlike these swing-aways, clamshell presses are not usually multifunctional, meaning they don't usually come with all of those different attachments and accessories that the swing-away comes with. Again, that is not like a telltale sign on which one you should purchase, because we really don't use the attachments much, if at all. So we prefer swing-aways, not really clamshell, for a multitude of reasons. Number one, they're a smidge cheaper than the clamshell. Clamshells average about 38 pounds, so they do average a little bit more heavy than the swing-aways. The clamshells also average at 15 by 15 inches as far as the heat plate goes, which is a very standard size overall in the heat press world. A big negative for a clamshell is you are at way higher risk for burns on there. So with the swing away, you can swing it away and not have the heat plate exposed anywhere where you're going to burn yourself. With a clamshell, it opens up, honestly, not that much more than this one, and you're supposed to just slide your shirt underneath it. You have a lot more risk for burns. Now, that being said, if you're careful, that doesn't have to be a negative for you, so that might not be a factor for you. I'm not here to tell you what to decide. I'm just here to give you some information, some knowledge. So aside from the swing away, and aside from the clamshell, our next category is auto press. So this is the Cricut auto press. This sucker, when it first came out, retailed for $1,000. That is what we paid for it. But there are other auto presses out on the market now. One of the top dogs in auto presses being HTV Ront. And with the average of all of them that we have found, you're going to pay about $250 average. Now this one has dropped down, depending on when you watch this video. There is a little Black Friday sale on it. It's about $600. I would not pay that for an auto press at all. We've used several. They are not multifunctional at all. An auto press is not. They don't come with any attachments like, you know, some of the swing-aways do. The average weight on these suckers is insane. They're upwards of 45 pounds. This one is almost 60 pounds, it's like 57, 56 pounds, something like that. They do average about 15 by 15 as far as the heat plate. This one is actually, I think, 12 by 15. Nobody quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure it's right around there. Maybe not. Let me measure just to make sure. I don't want to say anything wrong for you guys. This isn't on, obviously. Nobody freak out. So, yeah. 12 by 15. So yeah. So this one's 12 by 15, but the rest of them that I found are 15 by 15, which of course is the average for heat plates. It's a good size. The main thing we despise, I don't use that word often, but the main thing we despise about any AutoPress that we've used is you cannot adjust the pressure. Because it is an AutoPress, it auto adjusts that pressure, and a lot of times things do not come out looking as good as they could if you had been able to apply more pressure. Now, it completely takes away the need for an AutoPress when your products come out and your projects don't look phenomenal. I would much rather pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars less to get a swing away to be able to apply really good pressure on my sublimation or my HTV projects and have them looking phenomenal, then I would rather spend $600, $1,000, $250, even $250 to use an AutoPress in my projects coming out looking eh. So we really don't like them. That has been a constant theme for every AutoPress we've tried, is they do not give near enough pressure that we want. Now, do the products come out as fails? No, they're not fails, but us as crafters who have used a press with better pressure, we know the difference when we see it. So it's really clear to us that the AutoPress is just not all that it's hyped up to be. Now, I will have to give an exception here if someone is of older age, or maybe you have some really bad arthritis, or you just cannot, you don't have the strength to put this down and give a ton of pressure. We understand the need and the void that they have filled with AutoPresses for those of you who can't use your hands very well. So if that's you out there, these would be good for you. Just know your projects are not going to come out looking as good as they could have. Now, last but not least, the category that you all have been waiting for, the most, I don't want to say cheap, I don't like that word. The most affordable category is the Easy Presses. They are so affordable. You can sometimes get this sucker for $35, which is phenomenal. But the one we're going to be talking about in this category is the bigger one, just so that we can compare it to the other ones. This is the largest one that Cricut makes currently. It is the second generation Easy Press. This is the largest one that they make. This is 10 by 12. This one, you can get the Easy Presses on average for about $130. Not that bad in the grand scheme of things. The average weight is 8 pounds. 8 pounds. This one's a little over 8 pounds to be the biggest one, but of course with the average of them all together, 8 pounds is not bad at all. Like I mentioned, this one is 10 by 12. That is the heat plate length and width. Really not a bad length and width there. It might not be the best if you're using larger t-shirts and things. You might really want to stick with that 15 by 15. But if you're on a super tight budget, we really understand that this is something that you might need in your arsenal. Or maybe not just budget, but space. Maybe you just don't have space for something tabletop like this. So something a bit smaller and more easily, storable or manageable is what you need. Now, we do like an Easy Press because you are the pressure. You get to adjust the pressure because that's you. So you can apply a ton of pressure onto something or very minimal pressure onto something. It's kind of up to you. One downside of the Easy Press is, since we are human, we create more room for error as we use them. So if you're doing something a little bit more delicate and you're trying to give straight up and down pressure and you end up, accidentally sliding that forward, you could mess up a little bit of your project underneath. Now, has that happened a lot? No, it's just something that we have to talk about, giving the pros and cons of all of these. Least favorite category, AutoPresses. We do not recommend AutoPresses. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. If you happen to have a condition where you can't use your hands or you don't have a lot of hand strength at all, we get why you might want this. It might be the right fit for you. I would say next is Clam Shell, our next least favorite, just because of the potential for burns. Me sitting here with a rather large scar to prove it, I don't love them. I don't think they're nearly nearly as functional as a swing away, and with the swing away being cheaper than the clamshell, it's just a no-brainer for us. Now, runner-up is the easy presses. We use them all the time still. They're super versatile, they're super easy to use. It's great just to pop one out and use it on a project, so we really do love the easy presses. And our favorite of these categories is the swing away. With their minimal price, their great quality, and you know, the functionality of them being off the charts, we find them extremely useful in our craft space. So we love using the swing aways. But if you happen to be in the market looking for a good heat press, we recommend a really great swing away. They are, again, they're about $190. That's not too bad of an investment when you know you're going to use it on a weekly, monthly basis, something like that. You can do all kinds of things in here. You can do tote bags, t-shirts, hoodies, you can do pillowcases, blankets, all kinds of stuff. Now, another plus of having a heat press, like an easy press, we like to have both of these very close, is, you know, if something doesn't fit inside of here, usually this can take care of it. So between these two products, you kind of have everything that you need. But if you're looking for one to buy first, if you know you're going to buy them both eventually, if you're looking for one to buy first, go ahead and grab a Cricut Easy Press. They are the most affordable out of the 4 categories that we shared with you today, but you definitely need to buy a swing away sooner or later. They're amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that we did educate you. Let me know in the comments below if you have any of these and if you like them. And I'm sorry if you have a Cricut AutoPress and you love it. We're glad you love it. We're just here to educate everybody about what we know to be facts about all of these really great heat presses. So let me know what you have down below. If you have a swing away and you love it, let us know. We'd love to hear about that. We also have a phenomenal sale for our membership. So if you like learning and getting inspired and you're looking for a crafty community, come on over to Oak and Land. We would love to welcome you as a member of our flock today. You can use the code JINGLE, J-I-N-G-L-E, at checkout to get $45 off of your annual membership with us. Not just for your first year, but for every consecutive year you stay with us. Not only do we have a great library of cut files that you can use with your Cricut for sublimation, for print and cut, for laser cutting. You can use them with all your other die cut machines. So much you can do with those. They all have a free commercial use license. But if you do happen to have a Cricut, we do have some great courses to teach you how to use it. Everything from opening the box to making a project to mastering Design Space and more. You can find that in there, as well as some really great member-only content and training. And most of our members' favorite perk is a private Facebook group for flock members only, where everyone comes together, posts pictures, asks questions, and has a great time as a great crafted community. If you want to join, click the link down below. Do not hesitate. Use the code JINGLE. We would love to welcome you as a member of our flock, and you won't regret it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy the video. Don't forget, subscribe, like the video, and I will see you another day for another video.